Hello guys. So the presentation is all about reporting and documenting a small building in New Zealand construction industry. And today I am presenting this topic in front of you guys. Hope you will like it. So now let's start diving into the topic. So it's now the introduction. So we're gonna learn about how to make buildings, the small buildings. So small buildings are basically like a small homes, offices, commodity and spaces usually under 3 stories tall. Why they matter in New Zealand? Like the small buildings essentially housing workplace in both cities and rural areas, like urban areas and rural areas. Everywhere there are small buildings. So these are very energy efficient, helps to reduce the number of people in the home and local materials. They also preserve the character of New Zealand communities and meeting modern worlds. Moving further, it's about the importance of building design in New Zealand, like its significance, urban development and housing needs. So essential for addressing housing shortage because these are affordable and mostly people can afford these kind of things because it's very cost effectiveness. And moving further, it's about the urban development, like making small things and giving lot of benefits from that particular thing. It is very helpful for the people and their needs. When they come from the housing needs, it derive out the demand for single family homes. Like it's very cost effectiveness and they do not require that much type of maintenance as compared to the long homes, like long buildings is. Moving further, it's about the functionality. Functionality are those that about the layout, size and the about the structure of that particular area in the home. Like these tell out the space utilization, flexibility and accessibility. Like space utilization, like in a small area they make a small house which gives a lot of benefit and lot of facilities to that particular person who is the owner of that particular area. And the flexibility, like they can live and work place, they can make it to that particular place. And in the accessibility, they can easily access for all the users, including those with disabilities and all the things. For the sustainability, it is also a factor in which they make a small building. So in sustainability, it is about the environmental impact, like it does not give that much environmental impact to the building. Like we can use reduce waste, recycle, conserve energy, building, build building, use sustainable resources. So for this, it's very important in New Zealand because sustainability is a key, protecting New Zealand environmental and natural resources, reduce carbon footprints of building aligning with countries' environmental goals. Sustainable practices are like materials that we have to use eco-friendly materials that does not harm our environment to save our culture and the atmosphere, which does not provide the pollution to that particular place. Moving further, it's about the user needs, like what the client asking from the particular contractor, what they actually need from that particular project. Like some clients need accessibility, like they want a wide room, they want a wide doors to access in that particular building. Sometimes they ask for storage, like they want a big storage in a small house. So the user needs depend a lot of for the consumers and for the clients. It's very important thing. And the lastly is about energy efficiency. Like sometimes the client want us to, like he want natural light in his home. He want ventilations. He doesn't want to expend much on the energy. So these things have to keep in mind while preparing a small building, which is very beneficial for the construction project. Also, there is one more fact about the construction industry in New Zealand because the New Zealand construction industry turn around $18 billion to the New Zealand actual annual income, like whole actual economic of the New Zealand. The construction industry only give $18 billion every year to them. So for the material selection, moving further, it's about the material used. Like in material section, we use timber, brick, steel and concrete. Is the very basic thing. And also these are the things which are chosen for their strongness, with the strength, and for the durability and cost effectiveness, because in New Zealand it's very easier to find the timber, brick and steel and concrete. These are very basic things here. And moving further, it's about the influence of local materials like cultural fit, environmental impact and climate adaptation. Like we have to keep in mind about the cultural fit, environmental impact, like what can the exactly expectations from that particular project and it give us. And lastly, the climate adaptation, that material suits that particular area and the climate when they use it. The next slide is about the time and cost implications. So budgeting the role, like we have to precast the whole the scenario and plan the whole schedule. Like budget constraint influence material choices. Like whenever they purchase the material, they do not have to hesitate. Like it's very costly and these kind of things. Overall design to ensure the project stays with financial limits. Time management is about the like we make the project time like that at that particular place we have to do that work, and they have to make proper schedule and then they have to do perform activity there. Time constraints may require prioritizing certain design elements or opting for faster construction techniques. For the next slide, it's about the design criteria. The design criteria is also a very basic and very crucial thing in project making. So specific requirement that guide the building functionality, safety and aesthetic appeal. Like this includes factors like size, layout and structural integrity. And there are a lot of importance of these design criteria because it gives us safety and compliance. Like building is safe for occupancy, adhering to structural and fire standards. Like we have to make a lot of facilities in it. Fire safety we have to provide inside the building for design criteria. And for the compliance, like in New Zealand building, we have to make a building that is New Zealand Building Code standard, which is should be followed the New Zealand Building Code standards, all the 10 standards codes and regulations, ensuring the building is legal and the fit for the purpose, so that we don't have to put so much effort on the paperwork in the future and do not have to pay the fine and the money. Moving further, it's about the safety factors and design loads. For the safety factor defined by building use, load and expectations, like there are a lot of loads that have to cover inside the building. Lot of loads can come, like wind loads, as you can see in the picture. There is snow loads, negative wind loads, live loads, dead loads. So we have to keep in mind about every load and prepare for every situation that can occur in our building. For the design load, occupants, furniture, weather, these are the design loads. So we have to ensure the building can support these loads. It does not harm. So which is very beneficial point. Factors influencing design criteria selection. Environmental factors, economic factor. So these are the factors which are important. So in environmental factor, it is about that we have to keep in mind about the climate, site conditions and sustainability. Then we have to use that particular material there. Like if the area is very rainy, we have to make a deep foundation. Like if the area is not that much that like area is dry, so we do not have to make that much deep foundations. So environmental factors are very crucial. Moving further to economic factors, it's about the budget of the client. Like client does not have that much budget, so we have to plan accordingly that budget. The third one is social factor. It's about the nearby area, like the commercial area. The next slide is about structural elements in small buildings. The elements which give strength and durability to the building, like columns, slabs, beams, and the main thing is foundation, which is the main thing here. So for load-bearing walls support the building weight and distribute loads. Beams and column provide a structural support and stability, transferring loads and foundations. And the foundations are the anchor of the building. They are the main thing here because they keep and they settle the whole building in it. And then the last, load-bearing elements essential for maintaining structural integrity and durability during the whole time, and they prevent collapse of the building, which is a very crucial part here because the New Zealand is considered as an earthquake-prone area, and the earthquake can come anytime. So we have to make a building by keeping those things in our mind. The next slide is about foundations, substructure and requirements, like how the foundation should be and how the substructure. So foundations are those which are in the bottom of the building, like you can see these are the foundations here, and the substructure is like all this thing is substructure, like columns, cylinders, and certain walls. Walls come under substructure, superstructure. And for the requirements of the foundation substructures, the foundation is required because of the it supports the building and prevent settlements. And for the substructure, it includes footings and pipers for stability. And for the impact of local soil conditions, like soil conditions, why it is important to keep in mind those things? Because the affect foundation depth and type, like it depends of soil, like we have to make foundation depth or not. And drainage is very important because it prevents water damage and foundation weakening. And the last one is load bearing capacity, influence design for stability and the safety. Moving further, this is how the conclusion. Small buildings are vital for housing and urban development in New Zealand. I also mentioned it before in the last slide. Design must balance functionality, stability, and user needs and cost and design criteria as well. For the safety factors and design loads are crucial for structural integrity. Safety factors are covered under the New Zealand Building Code, New Zealand standards, and New Zealand standards are like those because they follow the standards of the countries like Germany, UK, and the United States of America, because those countries have very good building standards and New Zealand followed those standards. And about the last one is local materials. So local materials and soil conditions, economic factors shape the design and construction process, and it's also a very crucial part in the making of small buildings. So moving further, here are the references and the questioning part here, guys. So maybe it's your favorite parts, so you can guys ask question to me if any doubt.
Thank you so much. Any questions?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
I have. What are the common challenges encounters when designing foundations and substructure for small buildings? What are the challenges, brother?
So the challenges while making a foundations and the substructure for a small building, the challenges are about the climatic challenge. Like we have to keep in mind about the climate. Like every place we have to make different kind of foundations and the substructure. So for the foundation we have to study out the soil and the climate and everything out those things. Then we have to make the foundation. For the substance, it matters about the foundation. Like after making the foundation, we have to make the superstructure. So it both are depends on the soil and the climatic things. And also for the economic, for the client budget as well. We have to see the client budget as well for those things. Hope you like that answer, buddy.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah.